There's a stream, there's a stream, there's a stream, there's a stream. Trying new plugins, there's a stream, there's a stream. Whoa. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fitness in the Studio. Man. Hold on. Can you hear me from here? Can you? Can you? Yeah. All right. All right. So, what now? There's a stream. There's a stream. Hello, everybody. Hold on. I'm gonna move my mic here. I don't even care if you can hear me or not. He's reckless. All right, this works. So, where are you? Here. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? So, it's happening. We're streaming. We're live. I hope you're doing fine. I can't stand it any longer. Hello, Marco. Hello, James. It's been a while. I don't really want to stream. I want to go outside and play whatever. Football, soccer, other sports I don't really know how to play. I just, but I thought, no, I thought that I might shave tomorrow. And this is as much as a beard as we, beard has to be strammed. To stream, strammed. So I said but if I shave, all I'm left with is my amazing pair of glasses. So I should stream anyway. I should do it. But from the little glimpse you see back there from the other door leading into the back garden, it is still very sunny. These are beautiful days, and I am locked inside the studio because I'm doing the Korg Multi-Poly Groove 3 Pattern whatever masterclass, and it's coming out glorious, absolutely glorious. And I am loving the synthesizer that I was clicking with it, but not as much as the mod wave and wave state. But the more I explain it to myself, the more I understand it. The more I explain it to myself, the more I'm like, wow, okay, thank you, myself. Now I understand where this is going. There's a couple chapters that I redid because halfway through I was like, stop. This doesn't make as much sense as it could do if I explain it the other way around. So it is powerful. They did a couple things on analog modeling that is taking that synthesizer to the next level. I know it's not the topic of today, but because whenever, then the third thing is when Acustica Audio releases a new plugin, it's like stealing money from a baby. No, they don't have, what is it? Stealing candies, right? From a baby. Because people are gonna go like, Acustica Audio versus something. Let's gatekeep the heck out of that plugin. And so it translates into views, and I become rich and famous. And I was like, wait a second. Beard, glasses, and fame, and Acustica Audio new release. This is how people made millions of followers. That's the recipe. We're doing it. Tomorrow, it's going to be like 1.5 million of followers. I was like, are we missing this? A sunny day? What is a sunny day in comparison to power and influence over the biggest, the most important influential people in the world? Let's do this. What's more to gain to this, right? So, computer, load session Clear Mountain reverb. Loading, Alberto. Here it is. So here we are. I had everything ready. I'm lying. I was waiting for this. I have been, but how have you all been, people? How are you, James? How are you, Marco? How are you holding up? I know you're working, so like for real, but I guarantee you that this fake working that I do is becoming it's becoming intense. So I don't know if I've been smart enough in my past, because I was thinking I had been smart in deceiving the world into fake type of job, but this is now kind of intense, So I might retire. So this is not the trick I was planning, I locked myself into kind of a real job. Like, what was I thinking? It's happening. So what do we have here, actually? We have a session. I loaded the first thing that I had available. And this is something on which I've worked for a little bit. And then I started doing the masterclass for the multipoly. So I think it's getting approved. So that's okay. James says, real jobs stop the fun. Yeah. I mean, it is still fun because it's kind of a passion that you have and so on and so forth. But, I mean, covering a Korg synthesizer is not something you can do like, well, my spare time, I cover Korg synthesizers. Because Korg is kind of intense. Those people have been at it for quite a while, and they're relentless in the way they do their synthesizers. They there's so much routing and things. I still have to cover modulations, and they have those mod processors that are like modulators for modulators that modulate something else. So it's like a second stage modulator. It's insane. So I see the views are going up, and are like, people are waiting for that purple thing to happen. Korg is less intense than your channel callers. Yeah, look at that. But there's a meaning to these channel callers that apparently, like, how hard is it to see where the buses are? Like, I think my neighbors could tell which tracks are buses, because the green faders, they don't give up, And then there's like purple, and then there's the MIDI channels are gray, because MIDI is boring. MIDI is horrible. You should track audio even if you have a synthesizer. However, no, you should not. I mean, MIDI is useful, but it's also boring and tedious. And for that reason, it goes gray in my book. Then there's violet or purple. Are they two different colors, violet and purple? Or are they the same and then there's like synonyms? But anyway, purple is for synthesizers, virtual instruments. Actually, I think real synths have kind of a different thing. Yeah, the real synths, hardware synths, no, they're also purple. So all the lines, all the synths are purple. But the magenta one that you see there, and I dare hear anyone say, I don't know where the magenta faders are. I can't see them. Again, my neighbors know. There's like, dude, you have 3 multi-outputs. Those are the multi-outputs for all the virtual instruments. So whenever there's a virtual instrument that has multi-outputs, those are clearly laid out, magenta. Then the main outputs, effects are kind of like, send returns are gray. This is kind of wrong, I think. And then the main output is white. Simple as that. Now I know, I could be smaller. I see the views are going up, people. I mean, the plan is working. Beard, glasses with orange tint, with like, honey tint. Acustica Audio's release equals power and domination. Ads, money, millions that flow. Have you noticed how famous have I become since I've started the Patreon? I mean, this is insane, right? It's more than it's too much, it's too much. Have you seen the amount of Spotify followers that I have? I can't go any longer. This is too much. I don't want this much fame. Being tired from recording videos has its perks, because see how the stream is going? This is pro. This is, just killing time. So if you've grabbed your drink, your beverage, whether it's alcoholic, whether it's non-alcoholic beverage, we are gonna cover some Pultec stuff. Pultecs are equalizers. I mean, they're not a name for an equalizer. They're kind of a name of a generic product range. But I think many of you know these already, right? The EQP-1A is probably the most famous one, but there's other types of Pultec equalizers, and they're famous for their sound. They're famous for their tone, their mojo, whatever you want to call it. And these have been some of the most modeled plugins in the world of software emulations. There's plenty of brands that have covered it, but today we want to take a listen to two new products. One is Purple4 and one is EQP-1S3. Like, there's not even a product name. That's like one-to-one the name of that. Coincidentally, the EQP-1A3S is the subtype or model of Pultec EQ that happens to be my favorite. It doesn't quite sound like the EQP-1A, okay? EQP, yeah, I'm losing it. I said it too many times too fast, too quickly. So I'm gonna show you where I wanna listen to this. Do I have a perk here? Yes, I do. Okay. So my volume right now is insane. Let me head over my monitoring because I think it's gonna be kind of loud. And I wanna verify that you can hear what I'm hearing. And you can't, obviously. And I'm gonna tell you why you can't for some reason. Because I'm doing things the wrong way. You hear. Go. Okay. Nice. So now you should be able to hear me. Good level. 10-4. Awesome. So I would start from this type of percussion sound to gauge how a Pultec EQ sounds. Okay? Maybe you want to start from electric guitars. Maybe you want to start from singers. If you want to start from singers or electric guitars, we're kind of at a loss today because I don't have any. But, I would take these percussion. I have a low perk, which is this guy. Right? With this guy, that's kind of the high perk. Okay? And that, I mean, it's thick. There's a lot of loads and stuff. I propose we deconstruct these for a second because there's a couple plugins on it. Let's kind of deconstruct this. Not shy with the verb. No, not at all. Absolutely. But there's also... let me see. Okay, let's take a look at that. Low perk and high perk have MIDI. They go to old perk, which is green. You can clearly find the green faders. There's no way you can miss them. Green faders equal basses. Okay, so old perk has. Do we want to cover what I've done? Because we can always cut this. So those two percussion things have the Opto 3A on it. This thing, I'm pointing at the wrong way. This thing is amazing. This thing delivers. It's kind of a different take on the LA3, but I like it better for the stuff I do, mostly because of the bottom part, the high pass and HF contour. So, okay, they're pushing tons of gain, they're raising the ambience, which then goes to clear mountain spaces. If you're not familiar with clear mountain spaces, it's the latest reverb I've added to my stuff, and it's the suite of plugin is insanely good. Apogee nailed it down. They couldn't do otherwise because it's called Clear Mountain Suite or spaces and stuff. And I mean, there's no room for error there, for sure. Then these are all synths are all orchestra stuff. These are post fader synths for side chaining, okay, the orange ones. So when we get to the old perk, there's a tiny little plugin called Spiff that, again, I don't know if you know this. This is like, you don't need, these things are unbelievable. Spiff is, when I heard it, I was like, why didn't I use this plugin before? Why haven't I? It just completely solves things around percussive instruments and ambience and stuff like that. And then we've got the involution. Okay, I didn't remember that, but apparently we do. So I'm using a little bit of involution for adding transient and sustain. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm gonna bypass all these because who cares, After everything, we're going into the mix bus, which I know you care about this stuff, so I'm gonna explain it to you. You can copy it, can make your own music with it, become as famous as I am, but don't sue me because it's your responsibility if you do it. If your life becomes any closer to mine because of the plugin settings you dial in your sessions, it's up to you. I warned you, don't do it. So we got a soft limit, amazing plugin, was also free. I got these for free. And then we've got the Varimu, the plugin that tells you to stop it when the needles are moving, but otherwise awesome sound, or at least something I grew up with. Then imagine how expensive this chain would be. Then we've got the Relab Mazalek that I am starting to like better than other stuff on some things. Then we've got, I know you love this, the bass processor that I also found out about years later. It was released, and I was like, dude, Alberto, what are you doing? Why don't you know about the new plugins that are around? And then afterwards, we've got Master Disc. Simple as that. Because the people whose music productions I love use it, and I said, who am I to judge? Copy paste. No, it's actually not copy paste. It's settings that I've dialed in. But there's a reason behind some of the things. So I'm going to disable all this because we need the meat. We need, the juice of stuff. I'm going to completely disable my inserts. I'm going to completely disable the Opto 3As. And I'm also going to disable Spiff and the Oxford Involution. So we're now that I'm probably going to disable the spaces as well. Although, I'm probably not going to do that. Is the space different? No, yes. I can't find. Okay, there it is. Okay, on the spaces, I also have another Opto 3A. I'm going to keep these, though. Okay, it's apogee oriented. It brought me good luck, though, because I've worked these for like 4 days. 2, then took a break, and then I worked it out. I got a review or something like that, and it got close. I was into a kind of a Tenet thing because I had just watched the movie, and I just wanted to fit some instruments in there, knowing a lawsuit would happen. But then I remembered I am not famous, so who cares? Nobody's gonna hear it. I mean, but maybe the producers that buy this stuff one day. But it seems to have passed all checks for whatever reason. Or maybe they're planning on suing me Anyway, it's not copied by that, but you know, some synth lines, some percussive stuff, it's there. But we're here to just concentrate on low perk. So how does this sound now that it's completely dry as a bone? But can I say one thing? Do we want to compare? Let's compare. It's louder, so it's obviously better. But it's not just about that, right? And also, this is completely kind of off, because what we're listening to is just the percussion into the mix bus without the rest of the track. But I am now realizing I don't know if I can publicly, because this is a public stream. Did you know, James and Marco, this is public? There's actually random people that could be in here and kind of write about Acustica Audio's new plugins. do you feel endangered now? You should. So I'm having other humans. Unbelievable. And I see the numbers going up, but there could be bots. So we could still be safe. Bots are harmless so far. They do damage afterwards in different ways. Humans are like, you know, right on the money there. So we're going to disable everything. Level's good, although I kind of liked. We're addicted to my kind of mix sound because it's so good that once you take it out, you miss the Albertification of it. But we're not here to let me not make mistakes. Okay, we're not here to just waste time on humor and fun stuff. We're not here for having fun, enjoying ourselves. We're here to make music. Music isn't supposed to be fun. Music is something you're supposed to do because you just want to become famous and don't want to admit that, you know. So let's concentrate, because this is how you lose stream views, and then people don't watch your ads, and then you don't buy groceries, and you die because you have a disease because you didn't eat vegetables. It goes bad after that. So what were we testing? Okay, Acustica Audio Purple4. As usual, when we dial things in with Acustica Audio and we start searching for like Purple, which is the product name, we're presented with a range of acronyms to which the veteran Acustica Audio user has no issues whatsoever, you know, fighting against, right? But we are normal people to some extent. And so we go like, what should we use? I believe we should, correct me if I'm wrong here on stream, chat, help me out. This could be 4P1. I don't think they modeled a P1S as Sierra, right? So this should be the thing. And then we have, I'm gonna leave one slot, Mixwave EQP-1S3. S3. Why do I've said 3S all the time. S3? Wait a second. Maybe they inverted a letter or something. I don't know. Okay. Doesn't matter. So we got Purple and we got this one. I think there's another one that they did. Hold on. There's a similar one, but it's not that one. It's this one. But this is Warm Audio's Pultec. Am I right? So the one on top should be a vintage Pultec EQ, and I'm thinking this could be Prime Studios because that's where all the Pultecs were captured from. But I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. This is no official Acustica Audio information. This is just me guessing, okay? But it's a real Pultec EQ that it's been refurbished. Then we've got Purple4 AA, which stands for Acustica Audio, by the way, not the other thing. And I think this is a model of a Warm Audio EQP-1A clone. It just happens to be 2 rack units as the EQP-1S3 that Mixwave's done. But to my knowledge, we should probably do 4P1 versus EQP-1S3. But I dialed all three, so it's okay. So I'm gonna play with, I'm gonna keep them on all the time, all right? So on the Mixwave, says James, next to the input pot, you can select solid state or valve signal chain. Okay, exactly, here. This little thing here, makeup amp type, okay? So in my Pultecs, do you know the story of my Pultecs that I no longer have? I sold them. I bought parts from old Pultecs that were basically in a huge box, a wet, humid Keller box, okay? And I thought, because the price was good, was really good, that I could just kind of solder things in through with the help of a friend to make the faceplate again, you know, do knobs, buy knobs and stuff. And I ended up building them, and it took me, I think, like 8 months to have them finished, or 10, close to 10. And I did pretty much pay a lot more than I was expecting. But in my case, the rectifier tube was completely gone. So what we did is we had solid state rectifying into the Pultec. So the amp stages were still the same, but the solid state rectifier, to some people, made it sound different. It was no longer kind of like the Pultec, because, you know, tube rectifiers are one thing, solid state are another thing. To other people, it was like, no, the rectifier just doesn't matter. That's not the Pultec sound. So we constantly had this debate, what do you think? But, you know, we thought it were unique. It's cool that I can select tube or solid state output amp. Honestly, like if we were comparing these things, they should probably, I think the S3 was still tube amp output. I don't remember though. But we're going to experiment anyway. So we're going to oversample, hoping